I'm O.W. Root, and this is Pleasant Peninsula. It is brisk. It is cold. It is 9 degrees right now. And that's how it's been the past week. We've had tons of snow while also being just absolutely freezing. And that's kind of unique, really, because usually we'll have a lot of snow when it's a little higher temperatures, 26, 27, 20, 29, 30. Not this past week. I've had the best of both worlds, or the worst of both worlds, however you want to look at it. But what that means, low temperatures, lots of snow, is good sledding weather. And so I went sledding with my kids this past week a few times. And the thing that's interesting about sledding is, you do it when you're a kid, but you age out and you grow up. And then once you're an adult, you if you want to slide down a hill and nearly break your neck, you decide on skiing or snowboarding. That's how you opt to do that. But sledding you sort of leave behind until you have kids. And that's a beautiful thing about having kids is you get to relive childhood through their eyes. Almost an out-of-body experience. You can step back and you're there right with them. And you can see all those experiences and remember yours, and you get to participate that in a way and pass that on and pass down memories and make all those together. And that's a really beautiful thing. And you even get to hop on the sled and sail down the icy hill and wipe out and get covered in snow and almost break your neck. And that's a wonderful thing about having kids. And we have this great sledding hill here, and the town keeps it. It's this just big, huge hill, and they also flood an area where people can skate. And standing on the top of the hill, watching my kids go down and watching people skate gracefully across the ice, I thought, this is not some super expensive thing to do. It's actually very cheap. It's just a hill that you can come use whenever you want, and an ice skating rink, and there weren't any sides. It's just flooded. But what a great thing to do, because when you do that, all of a sudden it gives you something to do when it's extremely cold, when it's freezing and there's lots of snow. And what a difference that makes in the coldest, darkest months of winter. Dollar General, you see them everywhere all over Michigan. They are conquering Michigan, really. I mean, you see them all over rural Michigan, in small, tiny towns, in the middle of nowhere, on back roads, or just 55 mile an hour, 131. And it's sad. And when you say that, it's sad, you want to ask yourself, well, how is it sad? Or that might be the first response. How is it sad? It's a place that offers lower prices. And it's a place that is the only place for people to get what they need in that area, perhaps. Well, that's why it's sad. That second part. And the first part is also sad, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but if that's the only place you have to get your groceries, because that's what a lot of people use Dollar General for, your groceries and a whole bunch of other stuff that you need, just your daily items that keep your life going. Think about that. There's something sad about that. A dollar store is where you're getting your daily sustenance. That's where you're getting what you need. I mean, zoom out. At one point in time, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the one place, the one store for a town. There was a grocery store, there was a pharmacy. But those have shut down. And those have shut down for lots of reasons. And Dollar General comes in and fills that role, fills that gap. And that's sad. Because when you get all your stuff at a dollar store, there's something off about the economics there. There's something off about the trajectory of your community, the trajectory of where you are. It doesn't feel good, does it? It feels like you're shrinking. It feels like you're dying. It feels like your economy is collapsing. Your local economy is collapsing. And that's because it is. And that's why Dollar General came in, because the local economy collapsed. And so Dollar General comes in and fills that hole. And they provide this cheap stuff. And like I said, why is it sad? Why is sad? What, not sad? Why is cheap stuff sad? Well, cheap stuff isn't necessarily sad, but Dollar General is sad because their whole business model is offering the cheapest garbage possible for the cheapest price, and no one can possibly compete with that. Certainly no local store can possibly compete with a massive chain whose whole business model is offering the cheapest garbage imaginable. So that's why it's sad. It's not as simple as, oh, they're giving a great price on good stuff. No, these Dollar Generals serve as the grocery stores often, and go into them. There's no fresh produce, fresh fruit, none of that. No, it's a lot of chips and a lot of pop and a lot of prepackaged food. That's what you've got. You don't have any healthy food. You've got some milk and eggs, but that's about it. I mean, it's really Dollar General helps cultivate a food desert in rural Michigan, or it's a part of that food desert in rural Michigan. And that sounds crazy. In rural Michigan, lots of rural Michigan, or much of rural Michigan, is farmland, or a lot of it at least. And to have a food desert among farmland is very strange. And it's something's off. And another key aspect to this is that, I talk about the local problem here, so the local store shut down, the Dollar General comes in to fill that gap, or maybe the Dollar General came in and undercut the local store. I mean, that happens. That happens as well. You can't compete. As I said, a local store cannot compete with a massive chain offering prices. Again, not just offering low prices on quality stuff, but offering low prices on the worst stuff imaginable. That's the whole point. Of course, local chain or a local store cannot compete. But let's take the localism out of it, because I get it. You can talk about, oh, you should be buying at your local market, and that sounds all good, but in our economy, when inflation is really hitting families hard, that's fine to say, but once you get up to pay, you say to yourself, oh, God, I don't know if I can do this. And so you got to go to Dollar General. It's understandable. This is not about cutting on people who shop at Dollar General. Absolutely not. That is not what this is about at all. We all have to make ends meet. We all have to balance our budget, and things are not easy right now with inflation. That's just the way economics works. This is a broader point about local economies collapsing. And I just want to get that out of the way, because I did not want that to be misinterpreted. This is not about people who shop at Dollar General. It's about the concept of what's happening. And it's not even about, let's take the localism out of it. It's not just a problem with chains either, because there are chains that are wonderful. Think about Meijer. Meijer is beloved by Michiganders. No Michigander has a problem with Meijer. In Meijer, their 10 for 10 deals are incredible. Our Meijer here has incredible deals on berries. Truly great prices, which if you have young kids, you know how many berries they eat. That really helps. I mean, that really, really helps. My wife comes back and she has tons of berries, but she got them all for $1 each or something, some great price. So their 10 for 10 deal is incredible. So it's not about chains, and that's a beloved Michigan store, Meijer. And even Aldi. Aldi offers, it's known as a very affordable grocery store, but Aldi offers great food. You don't feel cheap when you go into Aldi. Aldi doesn't feel like a sign. And Aldi is a massive corporation. I mean, they started in Germany. And so it's not just, like I said, we're putting the localism aside. It's that Dollar General. It's not just chains. It's that Dollar General is uniquely sad and uniquely depressing. The whole business model is selling garbage at the cheapest price possible. And then even putting all that aside, like I said, the story of now you moved away from getting your food at a grocery store. Now you're getting it at Dollar General. Even moving past that story, the bigger arc here. Walk in a Dollar General sometime and see how you feel. You don't feel good. Ramshackle, stuff thrown on shelves. The whole place feels cheap. It really does. And you're sad when you go in there. You're not sad when you go in Meijer, not at all. You can buy 10 for 10 deals, get a great deal. Great, just awesome shopping trip. You don't feel cheap at all. Meijers are wonderful. Dollar General, you feel cheap. And it's not about just feeling cheap in the grocery store. it almost makes it feel like your whole life is cheap. It's the only place you got. That's where you get your groceries now. That's where you get everything for your life. You know you're living in a collapsing local economy. And that's depressing. And Dollar General is a punch in the gut. Just a clear reminder of that. It's very sad. Next, I want to take a look at a reel from our Instagram. So let's roll that.
The weather is finally getting cooler in northern Michigan, and it's time to pull out our favorite cold weather gear. Michigan is home to arguably the two best outerwear brands in the United States, Stormy Kromer and Carhartt. Stormy Kromer is the youngest of the two brands and originated in 1903 in Kaukauna, Wisconsin, and eventually grew to a plant in Milwaukee. In 2001, the legacy of the blizzard cap almost died off until Bob Jacquard bought the company and moved it to Ironwood, Michigan, and has since become the iconic symbol of Yooper pride. The Stormy Kromer represents the rugged endurance of the adventurer, dreamer, and worker who values style, durability, and a sense of fun. Carhartt is the elder of the two Michigan brands and originated in Detroit. Hamilton Carhartt created the iconic bibs from the input of railroad workers and the rough conditions that they worked in. Carhartt has become synonymous with durable. In 1987, Carhartt released its beanie, and by the 90s became popular among skaters and rappers. In 2020, Carhartt made a fashionable comeback and is viewed as trendy headwear, even though the brand has stood the test of time and weather. While the debate of who is the more iconic Michigan brand may not be as contentious as the rivalry of MSU and U of M, there's definitely a friendly debate of which hat to grab on your way out to your favorite Michigan adventure.
Stormy Kromer versus Carhartt. Which is more Michigan? They both feel so iconically Michigan. The aesthetic, the lifestyle, all of it. But for me, it's got to be Carhartt. For me, that's what's locked in my memory. I remember being 5th grade, 6th grade, getting that Carhartt beanie as it's getting cold. And, they had black, navy, brown, olive, orange. And, over the winter, it would get more and more fuzzy around the edges. You get those pills on it, get all pilly, and it gets so fuzzy. And I remember, you come in from recess, and you have to remember this as well. You come in from recess and you take off your beanie, your Carhartt beanie, you throw it in your cubby, or you throw it in your locker, or you throw it on your hook, whatever you had. And different people had different colors, and you knew yours. You, and maybe some people had the same color, but you get it. You know your beanie. And so for me, that is such a memory, a Michigan winter memory, kid memory that's burned in my brain. And that Carhartt symbol flipped up, that to me is Michigan winter. And also seeing, the Carhartt overalls with just salt crusted all around the bottom, or the chore coat. Guys wearing this with just these huge boots, getting out of a snowplow. That is Michigan workwear winter incarnate. And while it's totally an opinion, everyone has their own thing. To me, Carhartt is iconic Michigan. I'm O.W. Root for Michigan Enjoyer.